Front Porch Conversations, current events on the porch. Introducing Hank and Tyler. Hank, who is an older cowboy, thoughtful, plain-spoken, old school. And Tyler, who is a younger guy, sharp, conversational, plugged into current events.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Front Porch Conversations, the podcast where old school wisdom and modern day life sit down at the same table. I'm Hank.
And I'm Tyler.
Now, before we get rolling, we want to let folks know right up front, this here podcast is an AI-created show, built and produced by Bill. The voices are AI, the conversation is AI-crafted, but the topics are real, the questions are real, and the goal is real conversation.
Yep. Real world topics, different perspectives, a little humor, and hopefully the kind of discussion you'd actually want to listen to while you're driving, working, or just trying to unwind at the end of the day.
So pull up a chair. Today we're talking current events, the stuff people are seeing on the news, hearing about online, and arguing about over coffee.
And probably arguing about it in the Walmart parking lot too.
That's America, son.
Our first topic today is everything costs too much.
All right, I want to start with the thing that's probably bothering more people than anything else right now, prices. Groceries, gas, eating out, fixing your truck, buying dog food, everything feels expensive. And this week, the Fed kept rates steady again while inflation's still hanging around.
That right there is one of those news stories where the folks on TV talk like they're explaining it to other people on TV. The Fed held rates steady, inflation remains elevated, market volatility, blah, blah, blah. Most regular people hear that and go, okay, but why did hamburger meat go up again?
Exactly. That's what it always comes back to, your wallet. People don't experience inflation as a chart. They experience it standing in line, looking at the total on the screen.
And wincing.
And putting one thing back, that's the part that gets me. It's not even just the big stuff anymore. We all expect rent to be rough. We all expect truck payments or insurance to be high. But when the little everyday stuff starts stacking up, bread, eggs, coffee, paper towels, dog food, a bag of charcoal, whatever, that's when people feel like they're getting squeezed from every direction.
I think that's why folks get so irritated when they hear experts say things like, well, the economy is still resilient.
Resilient ain't a word you use when a man's staring at a $12 pack of bacon.
No kidding. It's like, okay, maybe the economy is resilient, but my checking account isn't.
That's it. And I'll tell you something else. When I was younger, people had money troubles then too. I'm not going to pretend the old days were some magical fairy tale where gas was cheap and everybody had a full freezer. But there's something different now. It feels like every single service has found a way to nibble money out of your pocket.
Subscriptions.
Subscriptions, fees, service charges, convenience charges, digital this, monthly that. Used to be if you bought a thing, you owned the thing. Now everything's a bill.
That part drives me nuts too. It's death by 1,000 cuts. You're not just paying your electric bill and your rent. You're paying for your phone, your streaming, cloud storage, some app you forgot you subscribed to 6 months ago, maybe a delivery membership, maybe a grocery membership, maybe a music app, maybe something for work. It just keeps going.
And somehow every company acts like $10 a month is nothing.
Right. It's only $9.99.
Well, if 15 people are taking only $9.99s, pretty soon you're talking real money.
I think that's why people are getting more frustrated than the headlines even show. It's not just one bill being high. It's the feeling that the whole system has become one big leak.
That's a good way to put it. A leak. You work hard, money comes in, and then it just runs out of the bucket through 10 little holes.
Do you think it gets better anytime soon?
I think people adjust because people always do. That's the American way. Tighten the belt, cut corners, figure it out. But I don't think folks are wrong for being fed up. You can only tell people the economy's complicated so many times before they say, I don't care how complicated it is, I need groceries.
Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of politicians miss. Most people don't care about winning the economic argument. They care about whether they can fill up the tank, buy food, and still have enough left to breathe.
Exactly. You know what the true economic report is?
What's that?
If a family can go to the store, buy what they need, and not feel like they got mugged in aisle 7.
That's the Hank Consumer Price Index right there.
Write it down.
All right, switching gears, another story that's been all over the place this week, the surf and coastal flooding warnings in California. Big swells, king tides, dangerous rip currents, people being told to stay out of the water in some areas.
Now, see, that's one of those stories where I read it and immediately think, there are always going to be two kinds of people. The first kind hears dangerous surf warning and says, well, I guess I won't go near the water. The second kind hears dangerous surf warning and says, boys, get the cooler.
Ooh, that is painfully accurate.
I'm serious. Human beings have an odd relationship with warnings. You put up a sign that says danger, giant waves, flooding, rip currents, and half the population takes that as a suggestion to stand even closer so they can get a video.
That's the part that blows my mind now. Everybody wants footage, not just to see it, to record it. Like if nature is doing something wild, the modern instinct is I need this for my phone.
And then the wave comes up and suddenly that phone belongs to Poseidon.
It's funny, but it's also kind of sad because some of these warnings are serious. People really do underestimate water. They think, I'm not out in the middle of the ocean, I'm just near the shore, but current and surf don't care.
Water's one of those things people don't respect enough because it looks peaceful until it isn't. Same with rivers, canals, floodwater, all of it. Folks think danger has to look dramatic. Sometimes danger looks like, it's probably fine.
That's true. I think people treat weather warnings like they're optional because most of the time nothing happens to them, so they get comfortable.
Yep, I've done it before. I've been here 100 times. It ain't that bad. Those are famous last words right there.
And I'll admit, this is where social media probably makes things worse. Because people see clips of giant waves, and instead of thinking, I should stay away from that, they think, I want to go see that in person.
Well, of course, everything's become entertainment. Storm coming, entertainment. Fire nearby, entertainment. Car crash on the freeway, entertainment. Somebody arguing in a parking lot, entertainment.
You're not wrong.
People used to hear stay home, bad weather. Now they hear content opportunity.
That's brutal and also dead on.
Look, I'm not saying don't go enjoy the beach. I'm saying if the ocean is acting like it's in a bad mood, maybe don't challenge it to a fist fight.
That's fair advice.
And if officials are out there saying, hey, this is dangerous, maybe assume they're not saying it because they're bored.
I think that's one of the things modern life does to people. We're overloaded with warnings all the time, so we stop reacting to them. Everything's an alert, everything's a notification, everything's a headline, and after a while, people go numb to it.
That's a good point. If every day your phone is hollering about 10 different emergencies, after a while, a real emergency starts sounding like just another beep.
Exactly. So then something genuinely dangerous comes along, and it gets treated like background noise?
Well, I'll tell you my old-fashioned solution.
Here we go.
If the ocean looks mad, leave it alone.
That's it? That's the whole system?
That's the whole system.
You know what? I can't even argue with that. All right, last big one I wanted to get into, the US-Iran situation. There's been all this talk about ceasefire deals, possible truce agreements, tension in the region. And every time it's in the headlines, people get that same pit in their stomach like, okay, how bad is this?
Yeah, and I think for most regular folks, war headlines hit in a strange way. Because unless you've served, or your family has served, or you've lived through one of those eras where war touches everything, it can feel both distant and immediate at the same time.
That's exactly it. It's far away geographically, but it doesn't feel far away emotionally because you know it can affect gas prices, the economy, military families, elections, all kinds of things.
There's also just the human side of it. You hear words like strikes, retaliation, ceasefire, and it's easy for the conversation to turn into maps, strategy, and politics. But underneath all that are actual people who are scared, actual families, actual soldiers, actual civilians, actual lives.
I think the internet has made that weird too, because you can watch a serious geopolitical event unfold in real time, and right underneath it is somebody making jokes, somebody posting a meme, somebody yelling at strangers, somebody pretending to be an expert because they read 2 headlines and watched a 3-minute clip.
Well, the internet has done a marvelous job of convincing everybody they're one opinion away from becoming Secretary of State.
It really has. And I get it. People want to understand what's happening. But sometimes I think we've lost the ability to just admit, I don't fully know what this means yet.
That's wisdom right there. There's no shame in saying, I'm still trying to make sense of it. In fact, I trust that person more than the one who's instantly certain about everything 5 minutes after the news breaks.
Same, because with these kinds of stories, details change fast. 1 minute there's talk of a deal, then there's skepticism, then somebody says it's close, then somebody else says not so fast.
Meanwhile, regular people are sitting at home trying to figure out what part of it they're even supposed to pay attention to. Is this a big deal? Is this temporary? Is this going to affect us? Is this one of those stories that's here today and gone tomorrow? Or is this the beginning of something bigger?
That's probably the hardest part of modern news, the scale of uncertainty. You're constantly trying to sort which stories matter, how much they matter, and whether the people talking about them actually know anything.
That's why I try to boil things down to a couple of simple questions. One, is this likely to hurt people? Two, is this likely to affect folks here at home? Three, are the people in charge acting like adults or acting like fools?
That third one is doing a lot of work.
It usually is.
Do you think people are more anxious now because of how fast news spreads?
Without question. Years ago, you still had fear and uncertainty, but the information didn't live in your pocket every second of the day. Now you can be trying to eat lunch and suddenly your phone lights up with breaking news about war, markets, weather, politics, whatever. There's no off switch unless you make one.
And most people don't make one.
Nope, they doom scroll until they feel sick and then wonder why they're in a bad mood.
I've done that. I think everybody has.
Sure. We all have. It's easy to get pulled in because there's this feeling that if you stop checking for 5 minutes, you'll miss something important.
And the truth is, half the time you're not even getting clarity. You're just refreshing your anxiety.
That's one of the best descriptions of doom scrolling I've ever heard. Refreshing your anxiety.
It's true, though. You don't feel informed. You feel wound tighter.
That's why I think there's value in slowing down and talking things through. Not yelling, not performing, not trying to win some imaginary internet contest, just talking. What do we actually know? What don't we know? What matters here? That's healthier than staring at 20 hot takes from strangers.
That's kind of what I want this show to be, honestly. Not pretending we have all the answers, but making room for real conversation without everybody trying to score points.
Well, that and giving me a chance to complain about the modern world.
That too, when you stack all these stories together, inflation, conflict overseas, dangerous weather, politics, the economy, I think what people are really feeling is just exhaustion.
Oh, I agree with that. A lot of folks are tired in a way that goes beyond being sleepy. They're mentally tired, emotionally tired, financially tired, just tired of feeling like the world is always wound up.
And it's not even always one giant disaster. Sometimes it's the accumulation of 10 medium-sized worries. You got bills. Then there's something weird in the news. Then your insurance goes up. Then it's hot as hell outside. Then there's another argument online. Then your car makes a noise. Groceries are high. Then somebody says a war might be starting. It's just a lot.
That's exactly it. It's not one storm, it's constant weather.
Man, that's a good line.
I've had coffee.
I think that's why people are craving things that feel normal again. Family dinners, talking to neighbors, watching a ball game, sitting on the porch, cooking something at home. Anything that feels solid.
Because people need anchors. They need something in life that isn't changing every 10 minutes. That's one reason I still believe in old habits, not because old automatically means better, but because routine can keep a person sane. Make your coffee, feed the dog, call your people, sweep the porch, do your work, keep living your life.
That's actually good advice in a time like this. Don't ignore the world, but don't let the world swallow every hour of your day either.
Exactly. Stay informed, but don't become a full-time hostage to headlines.
That might be the episode title right there.
It ain't bad.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Front Porch Conversations.
We covered a little bit of everything today: prices, waves, war headlines, and the general art of trying not to lose your mind in modern life.
And before we go, one more reminder. Front Porch Conversations is an AI-created podcast produced by Bill. The voices and dialogue are AI generated, but the heart of the show is a real conversation about real-world topics.
So if you enjoyed the episode, pull up again next time. We'll have more current events, more stories, more opinions, and probably a few more complaints from me.
Probably.
All right, definitely.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and for the love of all that's holy. If the ocean looks angry, leave it alone.
See you next time on Front Porch Conversations.